Okay, so I've never told my parents this story, so this is gonna probably come as a shock to them. But a lot of people have been telling me that it's a great story to tell, so here I am. About 6 or 7 years ago, my parents come to me and they say, "Hey, you've graduated university, you've got a good job. It's time to think about that next step," which for them was finding a woman to get married and settle down with. So I asked them, "Hey, what do you propose?" And they mentioned a website called shadi.com. In my language, shadi means marriage or matrimonial. So I join the website, I pay for a membership, and this is not like your Match or eHarmony websites. You can filter by height, by distance, by whatever, but you can filter down to the level of someone's skin color. Yeah, the Indian community is sometimes all about that kind of stuff, about how light or dark your skin is. It's weird, but that's what it is. So I'm on this site, create a profile, and I'm starting to get messages from women in North America, in India, in the States, wherever. Going through these messages, and I realize, you know what? There's no one that I'm attracted to. There's no one that's doing it for me. And I'm about to close my account. All of a sudden, I get a message from a person named Annie. That's not her real name, and I won't disclose it. I actually don't even know what it is. Get a message from Annie, and I take a look at her profile. Mississauga, great. Electrical engineer, great. And gorgeous. I call her like the Bollywood princess. So we're chatting back and forth, and I finally say, "Hey, we should move this conversation to MSN." Yep, back in the day, MSN was like the big thing. I get her MSN, and we're chatting back and forth. Good conversation. Her humor is more of I'd say like guys' humor, very crude to say. But anyways, we're having a good time. We're chatting, and every week I keep asking her out. I'm getting tired of asking her out, but a month or two later, she finally says, "Hey, yeah, sure, let's hang out." I've been trying to ask her for her cell phone number and for the webcam, but she said she had neither. And I had like a Nokia flip phone and a 1 or 2 megapixel camera, so I got it. Anyways, she finally agrees to a meetup on Friday, May 21st. And I blogged about this, so that's why I know the exact date. So Friday, May 21st comes around, and that happens to be in the evening. There's a wedding that I have to go to. So we agree that we'll hang out for about 15, 20 minutes, and I'll go to my wedding. And she'll go on her, whatever it is that Friday night that she has to do. She gives me an address. I MapQuest it. Yep, that's right, MapQuest. Go to the address. Turns out to be a house. I normally don't meet people at their house. Always a public place. And I text my best friend and I say, "Hey man, if I don't come out in 15 minutes, call 911. So get to the place, knock on the door, and this guy answers. It's about 5'8", brown guy. Keep in mind, I'm dressed up to go to a wedding. This guy is in his underwear. And he says, "How can I help you?" And I say, "I'm looking for this girl named Annie." "Oh." And he says, "Oh, she just stepped out to like Shoppers Drug Mart or for an interview or something like that." And who steps out on a Friday to those places when they know they have to meet someone, right? It's kind of weird. Anyways, he's like, "Come on in. Let's chat for a bit. And then when she comes back, you can hang out with her." So we sit down in the living room. He asked me the obligatory questions. How do you know her? Where did you meet her? And I explain on the website, just trying to hang out. And I ask him the same questions. How do you know her? Why are you living in her house? What's the relationship? And he says, "Oh, my parents bought this place as an investment property for students to rent out to go to the University of Toronto Mississauga campus." Seemed legit. We're in Mississauga. Campus is close by. Great. Story checks out. 5 minutes pass, 10 minutes pass. I'm still waiting for her. And I said, "Are you sure she's coming back?" And he says, yeah, don't worry. She'll be back. Gives me a little tour of the place. Shows me like the kitchen, the living room. Takes me up to the upper rooms. Don't ask me why I followed him. Takes me up to the upper rooms. Takes me to her room. I look inside. And it doesn't really look like a woman's room. Takes me to his room. Sits down at his computer and says, "Hey, have you seen this before?" He puts one hand on the monitor, starts turning it towards me, and in the other hand, he puts it down his boxers and starts stroking himself. On the screen, I kid you not, there was gay porn. So I honestly, I don't remember my exact reaction. Of course, I was weirded out. I was potentially scarred. I jetted out of there. I went to my wedding, and that was the night. Next day, I message her and I say, hey, what the hell happened? You told me to meet at 7 o'clock. You knew I had a wedding to go to, and you didn't show up. Instead, your gay roommate comes on to me. And she says, if you had just waited 5 minutes, I would have been there. And I said, you knew I didn't have the 5 minutes. She says, I want to tell you, but if I tell you, you'll get mad at me. I said, go ahead, spit it out. I'm already mad. And she types this out. So this is on MSN, and she types, I am ... I am ... And I'm like, you are what ... She says, I am O ... And I'm connecting the dots in my head, and I'm like, holy shoot, she's Omar. And I blurt that out to her. I'm like, you're Omar? And she says, yeah. And I'm like, so I just got friggin' catfished. Omar was her gay roommate. I got catfished. The signs were there. No cell phone. No webcam. Didn't want to hang out. Delayed all that kind of stuff. So it was Omar. Then Omar kind of tries to reason with me and says, listen, you don't know how hard it is being brown, gay, and Muslim. I'm like, I can get the brown and the gay part. I'm not Muslim. I'm Hindu. But that's no reason to lie to someone and try to meet up with them. So, lesson learned. I closed down my account, stopped using that site, never used it again, don't recommend it to anyone. And that's my shady.com story.